Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing super well. So today's actually the last video I'm filming before I head off to Europe. And I'm actually filming this a couple of hours before my flight. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I leave later today and I still haven't packed. But I was like, you know what? I gotta film a YouTube video before I head on out. So today I'm doing another highly requested case. And this is about what happened to 34-year-old Rita Gutierrez-Garcia. If you guys didn't know, I do have a case suggestion form that I'll have linked down below, and I'm able to filter out which ones are highly requested, and Rita's name popped up a lot, and it really is such a sad case and so unfair, and I just wish there was a different ending for everyone involved in this case. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about in today's video. If you guys are new here, welcome, bienvenidos. I hope you guys are able to subscribe down below before you guys leave, and yeah, thank you guys so much for being here and watching today's video. I really appreciate it, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Let's jump right into today's case. So Rita Gutierrez-Garcia was a 34-year-old mother of three from Longmont, Colorado. She had two sisters named Jessica and Nicole and a brother named Omar. Since she was oldest sibling, she was the one who took care of her sisters and kept the family tied together. Her mother, Diane Romero, says that Rita loved to cook and bake, especially Italian food and desserts. She also loved to laugh a lot, she listened to a lot of music, and she enjoyed spending time with her family. When Rita wasn't spending time with her family or cooking up some Italian food, she was working towards becoming a paralegal. She had actually received her certificate from Front Range Community College, and her graduation ceremony was planned for May of 2018. She wanted to use her degree to help women and children who were in domestic violence situations get the help that they needed. So she was really looking forward to finally graduating and being able to get a better job so her and her children could have a better life. So fast forward to the weekend of March 17th, 2018. It was St. Patrick's Day that weekend, so Rita and her family friends had a lot of things planned. On Saturday, March 17th, Rita and her friends and family were going to go out to some bars in downtown Longmont to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and just have some fun together. The following day, on Sunday, March 18th, her sister Nicole was having a baby shower, so the entire family was going to get together, and it was just going to be a very fun and eventful weekend. So that night, on Saturday, March 17th, Rita got all ready to go out for St. Patrick's Day. She put on a black long-sleeve dress with a green jacket and black boots. So her friends and family all met at a bar called Breakers, and they were pretty much there the entire night. They were having such a fun time, having some drinks and just hanging out together, but eventually the night needed to come to an end, so at around 2:30 in the morning, Rita and her friends and family decided to leave the bar. Now, I'm not sure if Rita had brought her own car to the bar, or if maybe she had taken an Uber, or if she had gotten a ride from her friend or family. But after they all left the bar, they were headed towards the parking lot behind the Threes bar. Rita was talking on the phone while she was walking toward the parking lot, and she told her friends and family that she was going to get a ride from someone else. Then everyone said goodnight to each other, and they all headed home. The following morning, on Sunday, March 18th, Diane woke up and headed over to Rita's house to pick up her and her three boys to go to Nicole's baby shower. She called Rita to let her know she was on the way, but Rita didn't pick up the phone. Diane figured that Rita was still sleeping since she had gone out the night before, so she didn't really think much of it. When Diane arrived to Rita's house, she gave her another call, but once again, Rita did not pick up the phone. So Diane decided to get down, go inside the house, and see what was going on. So she walks inside the house and she looks inside Rita's bedroom and she's not there. Then she goes to look in the bathroom, the boys' room, pretty much the entire house, but Rita is nowhere to be found. So she goes to wake up the boys, who were between the ages of 9, 12, and 18, and they all say that they haven't seen their mother since the night before. And they seem pretty upset, which is totally understandable. I cannot imagine waking up and finding out that your mother never came home. That's a pretty scary feeling. So the boys were definitely shaken up, so Diane decided to just take them in her car, drop them off at the baby shower while she went to go look for Rita. She called all of Rita's friends, other family members, and they all said that they hadn't seen Rita since the night before. Then she called Rita's current boyfriend and her ex-husband, which is the father of her three children, and they also said that they hadn't spoken or seen her. The last time anyone saw Rita was at 2:30 in the morning when they were walking towards the parking lot. She had told her friends and family that she was getting a ride home from someone, but they had no idea who this person was. At this point, Rita's family is starting to get worried because it's just not like Rita to go MIA. You know, she has 3 kids. She would definitely be communicating with her kids, with her mom, with her sisters. So everyone thought that when Monday came around, Rita would appear because her kids had to go to school. She had to go to work. Like, you know, the week was starting up again. So everyone just assumed that she would be back. But when Monday rolled around and Rita was still not home, that's when the family knew that something was really wrong. So they called the police and they reported Rita as missing. So the Longmont Police Department gets involved, and they were actually very supportive and helpful to the family. They never once thought that Rita was a runaway, that she was out partying and just like abandoned her kids. Like, they didn't think anything negative. They genuinely thought that Rita was missing and that something bad might have happened to her. So they immediately get on the case and they go to the downtown area where Rita was out celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and they're kind of looking around, seeing if any of the local businesses have surveillance cameras that might have captured who Rita got a ride from. But unfortunately, none of the cameras had captured Rita's last movements, so police were kind of just stuck. Like, all they had was this parking lot where Rita said she was gonna get a ride from someone, and that's it. The police do speak to Rita's current boyfriend and her ex-husband, but they had solid alibis, so the police don't think that they had anything to do with her disappearance. Then they went to go check Rita's cell phone records because her friends and family said that Rita was talking on the phone as she was walking to the parking lot, and they see that at 3:07 in the morning, there were 2 911 hang-up calls made from her phone. Then at around 3:10 in the morning, her phone went completely offline and it last pinged in the area of 3rd Avenue and Vivian Street. I'm not sure who Rita was speaking to on the phone. I haven't been able to find any information about that, but I'm sure police were able to figure it out, and I'm sure they spoke to them and already cleared them. Now, the 911 people did give her a call back twice, but Rita never answered the phone. So police continue to speak to people, and a couple of witnesses come forward and they tell police that at 1:30 in the morning, they saw Rita speaking to a man inside the bar. They also saw this man walking around outside, and then they also saw him approach Rita as she was walking to the parking lot. So now that police have somewhat of a lead, they decide to go check the surveillance cameras again just to see if they can capture this man on camera. And they do. At 3:03 in the morning, police see a man driving a truck through the area where Rita's phone last pinged. They track down this man, and he turns out to be then 29-year-old Juan Jose Figueroa. It's definitely suspicious that he was the last person seen speaking to Rita, and his car was driving through the area where her phone last pinged. So police head over to the home of Juan's mother so they can speak to him, but when they get there, he's nowhere to be found, and he would actually be missing for the next 9 days. During this time, Rita's family continued to search for her, but there was just so much land to cover. At one point, Rita's family was asking people if they had some drones that they could lend to them so they could help search the area.
I'm like looking in fields and I go by a stream or a river or something and my mind goes to that place. So even when we're not looking, we're looking. And that's the maddening part about it.
At one of the conferences, Rita's mother, Diane, begged for her daughter to come home.
Rita, you're my oldest, and you are Jessica's soulmate. Nicole walked away because she's really hurting. She's really wanting you to be here for the baby. I love you. I need you here. You are my pal. You're my Rita babe, and we just want you to come home. The boys need you.
Rita's my soulmate. She's my older sister, and I've never had to go a day without her in my entire life.
My heart just breaks for Rita's family. I have 2 sisters, so I can't imagine anything happening to them. So really, my heart goes out to Rita's family because they are just incredibly strong. My heart also hurts for Rita's 3 boys. Like, this is someone's mother. Someone's mom is missing, and the only person that might know what happened to her is now on the run. It's just really crazy. But then, thankfully, on March 27, 2018, Juan Jose Figueroa was arrested at the U.S.-Mexico border due to a search warrant out for him on a separate case that involved the essay of a woman. It turns out that shortly after police went to his mother's home searching for him, Juan left Colorado on March 20th and headed to Texas. He was only there for a little bit before he crossed the border into Mexico on March 22nd. While he was in Mexico, he was asking people for money. He was telling his friends that he was in trouble and that he needed help. He was also trying to sell his trucks. So I definitely think that he felt the heat when the police showed up to his mother's home. I'm not sure if Juan was inside the house when this happened and his mom just lied to the police and said, oh, like, my son isn't home, or how he found out that police were there. But I'm happy that he tried to re-enter the US. And as I mentioned, he wasn't arrested because of Rita. He was actually arrested because in November of 2017, he had met a woman at a bar in downtown Longmont, brought her back to his house, and then began to choke her after she said she wanted to leave. He choked her so hard that she went unconscious, and when she woke up, he was slapping her and all of her clothes were gone. Thankfully, she was able to escape, so that's the reason why he was arrested at the border. And when police told him this, they claimed that he said, "That's the only warrant? That's it? Just sexual assault? Sweet." And then he clapped his hands together and said, "Let's get this done with. Let's get it over with. I just want to post my bond and get out." So he's clearly a horrible person. Like, literally doesn't even care that he's being arrested because he essayed someone brutally and choked them. Like, he's just like, yeah, like, that's fine. Like, sexual assault, like, no pasa nada. It's crazy. So while Juan was in jail awaiting the trial for this essay assault, Longmont police officially named him a suspect in the disappearance of Rita Gutierrez-Garcia. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation conducted a forensic search in Juan's truck, and he had cleaned it pretty well. They said his car was pretty much spotless, but thankfully these guys were good at their job and they were able to find some DNA on the passenger seat of his car, and when they did a DNA test, it came back as Rita's. So now police definitely knew that at one point Rita was inside this man's car. While Juan was in jail, he allegedly told his cellmate that he had strangled a missing woman and disposed of her body before returning to his sister's house at around 9 a.m. on Sunday, March 18th. He says that this woman had called him a weirdo and that made him very upset, so he decided to punch her and then knocked her unconscious. After that, he strangled her. Then he burned all of his clothes in his sister's fireplace and went to go dispose of the body. He says that he buried this woman's body in an area that's not accessible to the public. The only way anyone would find this woman's body is if police inserted a probe into his brain. Because of the statement that he had made to his cellmate, police were able to get a court order to wiretap his phone calls from jail. During one of the recordings, you can hear Juan talking about how he had burned his clothes and extensively cleaned his truck in order to avoid getting caught. So this confirms that what the cellmate said was true. So a year goes by since Juan was arrested and Rita is still not found. Her family was still searching for her and they were just waiting for Juan to do the right thing and let them know what happened to Rita. At this point, Rita's family and the police knew that she was no longer alive, but they just wanted to find her body and be able to lay her to rest peacefully and finally have some type of closure. So days after Rita went missing in 2018, her family began putting ribbons on a tree at Thompson Park, and they would visit this tree often to talk to Rita and leave messages for her tied to the branches. So now that a year had passed since her disappearance, her family tried to adopt this tree, but they weren't able to, so one of the detectives on the case told them that they should install a bench in her memory instead. And this detective was so nice to the family. He even helped the family start a GoFundMe so they could help build this bench, and within a few days, the family was able to get enough money and they installed this beautiful bench. I honestly cried reading that because just wow, like what a nice detective. And Rita's family says that the Longmont police have been so supportive and kind to them throughout this entire process. Like they were always there for the family, and the fact that this detective was going out of his way to help the family get the money for this bench is just absolutely heartwarming. So the quote on the bench says, "In loving memory of Rita Gutierrez-Garcia. For the rest of our lives, we will search for moments full of you." This tree, which they call the Hope Tree, and the bench are a place where they can go visit Rita and share a beautiful, quiet moment with her. So that same year when the bench was installed in 2019, Juan Jose Figueroa was convicted of multiple sexual assault counts, attempted murder because he had choked the woman, first-degree assault, and numerous other charges, and he was sentenced to 93 years in prison. Just to remind you, this conviction was not related to Rita, it was related to the woman from 2017. The reason police hadn't charged him with anything in regards to Rita was because there was still no body, but thankfully the prosecution and the police were not going to give up. They knew that Juan had something to do with Rita's disappearance and potential murder, so for the next 2 years, they continued working on the case. Then, on April 6, 2021, Juan was indicted by a grand jury for the kidnapping and murder of Rita Gutierrez-Garcia. The statement says that Juan knowingly kidnapped and killed Rita, and he was faced with first-degree murder after deliberation, felony murder, and second-degree kidnapping. Now, at this point in 2021, police still had not found Rita's body. The prosecution had put together a very strong case that included the surveillance footage, the wiretap in jail, the cellmate statement, the DNA found in his car. So all of that put together made for a pretty strong case.
I have to, of course, emphasize that he is innocent unless and until proven guilty of these charges, that these charges are merely allegations, and he's cloaked in the presumption of innocence from now through the end of the case. But I can promise you that we are going to work incredibly hard, as we have since March of 2018, to make sure that he's held fully responsible and fully accountable for the murder of Rita Gutierrez-Garcia.
Rita's mom and her sister Jessica were present for this indictment announcement, and while they were happy that he was finally being charged, they were also extremely sad and heartbroken.
We are grateful for this day. It is a joyous day. I've been praying for this day, so God has given this to me. And but at the same time, it's heartbreaking because I still don't have my daughter. But there's still a lot. There's still a road to be traveled, and we'll get there, and we'll get the justice that we've been wanting. And I'm still praying, and I know the Longmont police and everyone else has not given up on the fact that my daughter will be found.
To this day, in March of 2022, Rita's body has still not been found. There is a $10,000 reward for any information as to where Rita's body may be. So please, if you have any information, or if you're from the Longmont, Colorado area and you know people around there, please share Rita's flyer or share this video. Let's just help the family doing whatever we can to get Rita's name out there, and hopefully someone out there might know something. So maybe someone in the Longmont area saw Juan driving around that night. Maybe they saw him go to a weird mountain area, just somewhere weird, and that could potentially be where he buried Rita. So the police also asked that if anyone is hiking in the Longmont area or going through some trails or camping, that they keep an eye out and see if they find any remains. I just really hope that Rita's family gets the closure and justice they deserve. So the 3 boys are now living with Rita's mom, and I just want to cry thinking about that because it's so sad that all of these years have passed and they still don't know where their mom is. They still don't have a proper burial site for their mother, and they know that this guy's in jail because he did something to her, and he just doesn't want to be a decent human being and tell the family where she is. So the family does have a GoFundMe available, and they plan on using this money to continue to search and hopefully find Rita. I will link that down below if you guys are wanting to donate. I, of course, will be helping the family out. If you guys aren't able to donate, please just at least share the flyer or this video just so we can bring more awareness to her case. And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's all the information I have for today's video. Cases like this are so frustrating, especially if what Juan said was true. If Rita did call him a weirdo and that's why he decided to attack her and kill her, that is just absolutely ridiculous and so frightening. Maybe he was trying to make an advance towards her. Maybe he was trying to invite her back to his house and she said no. Maybe she said, oh, you're a weirdo, but that should not be a reason to kill someone. It was just a very difficult case to research because I really wish there was a different ending. So Juan is still awaiting trial, so I will keep you guys posted on this case, and hopefully he does the right thing and lets the family know what happened to her. Definitely let me know your comments and thoughts about this down below, and if there's any other cases you guys want me to cover in the future, make sure to submit it through my case suggestion form that will be in the description box down below. I really appreciate you guys being here, and if you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below, por favor, so you guys can join the familia. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!